Hi everyone, Laura Lynn from the Mama Pop Quilt Shop. This is Long Arm Wednesday, and we're working on a interesting wall hanging. Let's just put it that way. Stay tuned, okay? Hey everyone, this is my, I'm going to call my interesting or fishy wall hanging. So I've taken strips of black and white, just because I couldn't really decide which color I wanted for it to work on. And I did a sequencing half inch bigger than the next piece all the way out. So it would kind of give it a bit of a dimension for where it's sitting and hanging. So, and it's really long. It's actually I forgot to measure it, but I know it's what I'm working with in here is 25 inches. So, but I did make it 28 inches. So I've preset a koi fish pattern to stitch out. So it's going to stitch out from, this is the halfway point, to about, I really want it to be the main feature of this wall hanging, like for the big part here. And then I'm going to put fishies up here and fishies up here. And I did already preset some for down here, but it's just going to do the big one right now. And then I'm going to add all the scales and fun stuff afterwards. So we'll, select this to quilt. There we go. And I don't want to rub up this against this too much because my needles are right there and I already got poked in the belly. Alright, so it's going to start at the bottom. And I chose purple thread. Why? I really don't know. I just kind of like it. And it's going to stitch itself out. I'm not sure how long it's going to take, but it shouldn't really take too long at all, considering I've stretched it out. It was a normal 10 by 13 pattern by, one moment here, I can't really see where it says who it's done by, but it's Koi Swirls Block. So, and I just stretched it out. I stretched it out and tweaked it to fit the size that I wanted it. And I'm hoping with this black and white transition of sizes, we'll give it a little, I don't know, fun stuff. Fun stuff. What's it doing now? I think it's the bottom of the tail fin. Oh no, it's one of the army finnies. The tail's already down here, or part of it anyways. I like it when Walt works, and we work together. Oh, there we go. You can see the nose. There was about 7 or 8 fishy patterns or fishes that I've just been dying to use. So I thought it'd make an interesting wall hanging, considering the space it was going to hang in. I plan on using a soft blue, or hold on, I'll get it for you so you can see. There we go. Sorry, robin's egg blue to do some of the other fishes. I wanted to keep the koi block itself just in purple, and then I'll use probably this color on this part of the fishes and that part of the fishes, and maybe something different up on top, just to give it all color dimension, something a bit different. And I'll fill in the background with bubbles and like for oxygen bubbles and maybe some waves or some maybe sea anemones or something. I'll figure it out. I'm hoping it turns out like I have in my mind. And because it's a wall hanging and it's just going to hang very beautifully on a wall, I used my bits and bobs like I was doing for the animal blankets or the cat beds for the shelter. I don't want to waste anything, so I find ways to use it. And in some of the spots where it layers, it's just going to add dimension, like water dimension, right? Like, at least that's what I thought. We're going to go with that. thought about using orange at the top, but I haven't quite confirmed my last color yet. I have a few. I could use gold, like this, or this one. I like them both. It really pops. I wanted it to pop on the black and the white, right? I don't want it to get lost. Oh, he's looking cute. The fish is pretty much stitched up except for one of the back lines here. And it's just filling in the, I think it's just the big swirl that surrounds it completely. It's going to go all the way up into here, and then the big bubbles, big circles up here. It's like Walt's giving me something to color later, and I really, really like it. A bit of seagrass or pond grass. I figure if you're going to try and make a work of art or a piece of art, I'm hoping it's a work of art, then, you know, use some catchy colors. There's one big swirl. Now remember, if there's anything you want to see, make a comment, or I'm willing to try new projects. Just let me know. And there is a contest going on, so be sure to check that out too. Up until July 1st, you have a chance to win 2 wall hangings. I call it Farm Life. And they're about 38 by 39, or they're good size. So I'll talk about the strips that I did. So the center one right here, I did at 1 inch. And then these ones I did at 1.5 inches. Then 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, oops, 5.5. Oh, I'm not sure what happened here. We got some shredding. Looks like we got some. Looks like my thread's the wrong way here. Not sure how that happened. All right. Okay, quick rethread. Let's just cut some new stuff, because this stuff seems to be a little bit rusticated. And now I want to rip that out, because that's all pucky, and I don't want that. So first things first, rethread. Round, and hook, and this, and through the loop, and off to grandma's house we go. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Let's see. And it's coming out of my spool okay. I got my little sleeve on it. Alright, so I don't want that on there. So I need to find my little seam ripper, which I seem to be doing all the time. Oh, snaggles. I know I just had it because it hit the floor. Okay, sorry, un momento. Well, it was just hiding behind the big roll. Okay, I don't want from this first little snaggle. So I have to make sure when I reset this pattern to start stitching again that I want it to go to the spot I want it to, not to continue from where it thinks the thread broke. Because then that would be way over here, right? And then I'll be left with all this. Somehow have to deal with. Right? Okay. I don't want to leave that looking all yucky like that. It's not very pretty. Unfortunately, it's going to take a minute or two to get this all out. We'll be back after these messages. messages. Cute commercial. I was being stubborn. Oh, jeepers. Of course, it's hard to see on the black. Oh, snaggles. Try to get all the broken bits here. Work our way backwards. Sorry, folks. It's always something at the mama pop quilt shop. Something at the mama pop quilt shop. But we conquer and move on at the mama pop quilt shop. Yeah, it's boring, but we're getting there. Okay. Don't get your fabric, or you'll regret it. Okay, I think we're good. Make sure I get anything up from the bottom. There we go. Okay. You see how I did that? I made sure to bring up that bobbin thread to make sure that there was nothing else that was looped around possibly on the bottom there, okay? We can trim that later. So take up those little threads. Keep your seam ripper handy. And we want to, it says auto restart. That's what we want to do. But we want to pick a new point. Not as down here, where we're going to crisscross. We're going to try and make this the start right on this black and white. And I want to use this spot. Yes. So quilt. And it just overlapped just a smidgy. Okay. And we want to kind of hold those as it starts to stitch. Okay. Single stitch, single stitch. Go. There. Perfect. We'll deal with those little strays when we need to. Like actually, probably right now because it's going to come back over around the mouth. There. Wouldn't want them to get stitched down again. Okay. And be sure to add to your very colorful thread jar. There we go. That's finishing its swirl. And when you do a black and white project like this, make sure you press to the dark, right? Press to the dark side. Because then it looks nice and clean when it's stitching up. Okay, you don't see any of the other edges from the black that look shady or gray. I was like, what is it doing? And oh, I realized it was doing the circles. The oxygen bubbles. This has got some little loops to do here and here. And a little bit of grass over there. And it's done. I think it looks pretty. Sometimes the ideas in your head don't always turn out. But you got to give it a shot, right? I was riding my bike home and I think I got something in my eyeball. besides my eyeball. There we go. Just did the back of the fish. Gonna do the other little swirls. And then this is pretty much done, I think. That's exactly where the end spot is. Send this up real fast. Looks really good. So I think next Long Arm Wednesday, I'm going to show you how I maintain Walt. Oh, jeepers. Every time I start to talk about this sort of stuff, it goes crazy. Alright, so let's fix this broken thread. I wonder if it's hitting something specific, because it went really well for a while there. Doo-dee-doo-doo. Anyways, maintenance on Walt, how I oil him up, make sure he's all dusted and ready for projects, and so on and so forth. I make sure I want to pick a new spot because it stopped a good 3 inches past the last stitches. I kind of want to make the transition on a point, like a line mat going in between the black and the white. There, it's almost done. See if I can see if it's catching on anything. No. Not that I can see anyways. There we go. That's it. So we'll go single stitch, single stitch, single stitch again. And then we're going to do our bobbin. Oops. That's my bad. I hit the wrong button. It wants to do the next part. Alright, well let me cut the bobbin under here. Just to make it easier. Get it wrapped up or anything. Okay. So we might as well let it do what it wants to do here, because I set up another bunch of fishes on the end. Or should I just add the scales? You know what? I think we're just going to add the scales, and that'll be our Long Arm Wednesday. Okay. So now I want to switch it to me mode. Okay. Do a little switcheroni here. Regulated. And I may want to take this time to, with a air and water soluble ink. They are disappearing inks. I did grab pink. I figured that was the best way to see on the black and the white. It did show up a little bit. So you got to think of how the scales of a fish go. It's kind of like this, down the body of the fish, right? So I don't really want to touch the face, but from this mark right here, I think I'd want to kind of continue those scales. So kind of going like this, match up to that line, and then work it from one part of the fish to the next, making sure to come into the point of the last scale, okay? Alright, and then we're just going to, okay, well that line went there, so let me bring it up to here and there, okay? And then we'll go this, this, okay? And that's how I'm going to make the scales for my fishy koi, okay? So you with me? Alright, everybody go! going to start at the eye, right at the corner of the eye. Okay. There's that. Okay. And now, hit the start button. Or the start button. Take what button? And just do little bouts, like little clamshells, Jamaican scales, for your pretty little koi fish. I think I'm going to come back in with that light blue and do another shadow set of scales. What do you think of that? I was just thinking about that. So you got to get your inspiration from wherever, even as you're working on your project. Okay, I want to make sure you come into those points. Okay, now this one. I want to come down, follow, and then bounce from there to the next. Okay. Try and make around the same size, but you know, fish are different. Bounce right to the side of the fish. I see he's got his little wing there. Wing, it's our arm. So I think I will just come up and then retrace and bounce again back just to cover the body. I can work on the fins or leave the fins afterwards, right? Okay, so there's that one. Back here, bounce, bounce. There we go. And then in no time at all, you got your fishy with some scales. Okay, I'm going to bounce twice there. There we go. And back up. And over here. And that's pretty much how I'm going to finish this off. I'm going to add some more fishes in some different colors. And check out at the end of the video. Show some pictures how it turned out. I'm starting to sweat like a little piggy over these hot lights here. So I'm just going to finish the scales and then we will call it for Long Arm Wednesday. Show you all how to maintain sewing machine, this big sewing machine, next week. We call it Waltz TLC. Going back and forth, giving you fishy scales, and make sure you're staying within the pattern, because see how he's turning right here for the tail. So I should just still continue all the way around there because it's all part of the fish. Even this side out a little bit here. Popped a couple of one extra over there. sorry, the sweat drips in my eyes here. I think we'll call it quits. So thank you very much for staying tuned, sticking tuned, or whatever you want to call it, to Long Arm Wednesdays. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out the contest at the end, because you can totally win a very beautiful wall hanging. So see you next time. Take care, everybody. It's hot out, but I'm not complaining. Thanks, everybody. Take care.